Salutations, crustaceans. I'm Lobster, and we have reached the end of my Ultimate Stingray Strange Pickup Guide 2022 edition. Today we're going to be looking at all the pickups back to back, and I will give my final conclusion and takeaways from this whole experience. Let's get started. Welcome to the end and the comparison portion of the Ultimate Stingray Strange Pickup Guide 2022 edition. We are going to listen to all our Stingray pickups side by side so we can hear the subtle nuances between all of them, because surprisingly, one thing that I took away from this is that all of these pickups outside of the Bisonic sounded pretty Stingray-y for the most part. They had different spices and flavors, but the overall character was essentially the same. We used a Sterling by Music Man Ray 4 SUB as our mod platform and swapped in 6 different pickups, as well as tested the stock pickup with the Trickfish IPA onboard preamp. Big thank you to Trickfish Amplification for providing this preamp for this video series. I really appreciate it. We also paired these pickups to a 500K DiMarzio push-pull. Now, this was very interesting because some pickups recommended a 500K and some recommended a 250K. I know the standard Stingray is a 250K, as was mentioned by one of the commenters, and using a 500K pot instead of a 250K pot will give you a brighter tone, relatively speaking. Now, that was definitely the case with our Nordstrand Big Man, which is set up for a 250K pot. However, the Nordstrand Blade Man, which sounded spectacular, is set up for a 500K. Very interesting indeed. Perhaps we'll test out the Nordstrand Big Man in another video with a 250K pot and see how that sounds. Now, let's go ahead and check out these pickups back to back with our various EQ settings and various playing styles. You all know what you need to do. Go ahead and pinch that like button so my hand will turn back to normal. Thanks. And we are back. Now I want to start off by saying thank you everybody for sticking with us through this awesome Ultimate Stingray Strange Pickup Guide 2022 edition and strange pickups we have looked at. I'm going to go through each one of the pickups now and just talk about my personal opinions, but I want to say, reviewing all the comments, everybody had a different opinion, and I thought it was really interesting how some people preferred some flavors of Stingray Pickup, other people preferred other flavors of Stingray Pickup. Some people even liked the stock pickup the best, but I thought that was really interesting how everyone's taste kind of differed, and that's why I do these, and I think it's really, really great to see everybody, you know, engaging with the content, listening, and thinking about which tone they like the best. So very cool stuff, and thank you so much for participating in this Ultimate Stingray mod guide. Let's start talking about the pickups now. First up is our stock pickup, a ceramic, very cheap Music Man humbucker that came in our Ray 4 SUB. This pickup was very bright with our DiMarzio 500K pot. Very bright, and it was also a little bit microphonic, where it was picking up like, you know, taps on the housing and things that a pickup really normally shouldn't be picking up. This was the only pickup that had that issue as well, so I thought that was a bit strange. But regardless, wiring it up to our test setup with the 500K push-pull pot, as well as our Trickfish IPA preamp, yielded some interesting results and showed the potential of the stock pickup. I think the combination of the stock pickup and the stock preamp itself is actually pretty not great, but a good starting point, I guess, for the whole Stingray adventure. But once you start getting into aftermarket pickups and preamps, you can really turn these basses into beastly budget instruments. Next up is probably my most favorite of the bunch now, and that is the Turner Multi-Coil. A very unique Stingray pickup that I absolutely love. I think the look is awesome, the sound was very well balanced with deep and heavy lows, but also clear but not too harsh highs. Not your typical Music Man Stingray tone, but a very well-balanced tone that just sounded stupendous, in my opinion. So this one was definitely one of my favorites, but now we're going to talk about the close second, and that is the Nordstrand Blade Man. I really liked this pickup as well. The aesthetic is cool, of course, but the tone was very, very nice. You had powerful tone coming from this ceramic pickup. Real crisp highs, powerful lows, heavy mids. I mean, this was a great sounding pickup in both series and parallel, as I said, and in our various preamp configurations. And this one was definitely my second favorite next to the Turner. Also, one correction, I said in the video that there were two Nordstrand Zen Blade pickups. The Zen Blades are the hum-canceling J pickups. I meant to say J Blades. These are two J Blade pickups in a Music Man housing. Moving on to the Nordstrand Big Man. This was quite an interesting pickup. Unlike its counterpart, the Blade Man, which was designed for 500K pots, this pickup was designed more for 250K pots and for a more classic style Stingray installation. And it was definitely the brightest of the bunch with our 500K pot test setup. Now personally, in our test setup, this was one of my least favorites, but I don't think I'm really giving it a fair shake, and I'm going to be testing this pickup again in a different scenario with a 250K pot to see if we can get this to sound just beautiful. Moving on to the Delano Hybrid 4, the hybrid pickup that is half Music Man pickup and half jazz bass pickup. I thought the tones that we got from this pickup sounded great, however we're not really using this pickup to its full potential. With the hybrid system, I believe it's running series and single coil, running the outside coil, getting you true jazz bass single coil bridge pickup tones, as well as Music Man humbucker tones at the flick of a switch. So we were not really using that, we were instead wiring it in series and parallel. Parallel, output-wise, I would say it was probably one of the weaker of the bunch, but it did still sound very good. The character is very different from your typical Stingray tone, and definitely didn't have the same high-end sizzle, but overall I thought this pickup sounded pretty okay. Next up is our last Music Man style pickup, and this is the MEC M60104. The Chrome Annihilator. I don't know. I just made up a name. It's an even better name than whatever they came up with, right? The Chrome Annihilator. No, it's just a chrome ceramic Music Man style pickup. It's relatively low profile, very sturdily built because it's German, and was very surprising at how good it sounded. This is one of the most traditional Music Man style pickups of the bunch with its, I mean, look at it. It's a Music Man pickup. But it sounded great. It had everything you want from a Music Man style pickup, and I was very much impressed by this, so great pickup here. And finally, because I'm a weirdo, we put a Novak Bisonic BSDS into our Music Man Stingray test platform with the Trickfish IPA as well as the DiMarzio 500K push-pull pot. Now, just like the Delano, we did not really utilize this pickup in its intended purpose, and we didn't wire it in its intended way either. So we got our Dark Star tone as well as our Bisonic tones. I thought this pickup sounded really good, but it did not sound like a Stingray pickup. Obviously, as it is a single coil, completely different construction, this was not a Stingray sounding pickup. I was impressed, however, with how all the other pickups were basically different flavors or different little spices on the Stingray dish, but this was like a completely different dish, and it sounded awesome. My favorite tone, personally, I think was the Dark Star tone. I think that was voice 1. Sounded really nice. Now, one thing to mention, this is the most expensive pickup of the bunch. All the other pickups come in at around, I want to say, $150 to $250 US. This pickup is close to $350, and I've had this pickup sitting around for a while, and I've been meaning to use it, so here we did. But let me know which pickup was your favorite down in the comments below. Now on to some final notes and final thoughts on our Ultimate Stingray Strange Pickup Guide 2022 edition. First, the bridge on this bass. Many of you were asking, what bridge do I have on here? This is the All-Bridge Drop-In Array 4 Stingray bridge. Awesome bridge with its quick release stringing, and I just absolutely adore it. I did make a separate video on the bridge, however, because ModCember is just so saturated with content, I actually cut that content. That will be coming in January sometime. We'll talk about the bridge in more detail and we'll show the installation process. Very easy, you don't have to drill or anything, and it utilizes the stock screw holes. So very awesome bridge overall. Final thoughts on the Trickfish preamp. I thought it sounded great with its low mid control, treble, and bass control. And I also thought the installation was very easy with its plug and play functionality and solderless design. So very cool stuff overall from the Trickfish IPA. And again, big thank you to Trickfish Amplification for providing that preamp for this series. We really appreciate it. Now, one takeaway that I have from this whole series, as I mentioned before, is just how similarly Stingray-ish all these pickups sounded. They had different accentuations in regards to frequency areas and different voicings, but overall they were kind of saying the same thing, if that makes sense. The different construction, different materials, and different way everything was set up yielded, different tones for sure, but they mostly all sounded like, hey, this is a Stingray, except for the Bisonic, and that's because of its Bisonicness. But anyways, that was one big takeaway from this series. I also wanted to take a moment just to say thank you to everyone for supporting the channel and watching this series as well as just all my other videos. We really appreciate it. The feedback that we've gotten in the comments section in regards to what pickups you guys liked and didn't like, and really giving thoughtful comments. You really gave your opinion on the specifics of the tones, and it's really great engaging with all of you. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, watching series that I do like this and all the other crazy stuff that I do, and I hope that the channel keeps growing, and I'm very excited for what the new year brings to us. But overall, that will do it for our Ultimate Stingray Strange Pickup Guide 2022 edition. Let me know what you thought about this whole series down in the comments below. But I had a blast, and I just absolutely love doing videos like this for all of you. Playing awesome basses, testing out different pickups and different combinations, modding things and trying new applications. It's just been a dream, and it couldn't be possible without all of you. So thank you all again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the content that is to come for the rest of ModCember. But thank you all. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like, subscribe, join our Discord channel, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about our Ultimate Stingray Strange Pickup Guide 2022 edition, and all the pickups that we tested. And as always, until we groove again,